It's the Dogma F. It's pretty much the exact same bike. There's nothing different about it.
The last model was F.
Yeah.
Before that, they had the numbers, and then they got rid of the numbers.
Yeah, it's still just the F. It looks exactly the same. Everybody's been saying, like, why'd you make a new one? There's no difference.
Is it lighter, more aero?
It must be. I don't know.
Their old bikes, their old steel bikes were really pretty. I mean, I keep thinking of
Didn't Roger have one drink?
He might have.
It was like Spumoni, what they called the Spumoni paint job.
The 3, it was the tricolor. I don't know if he did. But they were. I mean, Alexei Greywall won the Olympics on one. 84 Olympics. I can't talk about the Greywalls.
You can't? Why not?
Because they find me and and we're live. I had to unfriend.
I think Rishi's still in Montana.
Yeah, I had to unfriend one of them today just because.
The girl, she's almost 60.
Oh.
The lady, she's been cutting my hair since 86. Went to school with him.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Rishi.
Wonder how they were.
Yeah. Kalispell, Montana.
No shit. What?
Mm-hmm.
I thought they're all.
They're in Colorado.
Coloradians.
That was the push, for cycling.
Yeah. So that's when they moved there?
To Colorado, yeah. That's the way I understand it. I could be terribly wrong because I'm 61 and I don't remember things very well.
Wow. You learn something new every day. Look at that. Yeah. It's time to play bikes. Theme update, I don't have one. But Lance, take care of yourself, buddy. I hope you're doing okay.
Yeah.
Theme can wait. Take care of your health. This theme's gotten us along the miles. It's fun. I keep remembering when Carson did the blah, 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 back at it. And he's right. It is there. Well, we are 2 weeks into the Tour de France. They have come and gone, as well as a brilliant women's Giro. Oh, it was good. And if you're me, you're a little bit sad about the oncoming end of the unofficial summer. That's my half-glass empty type of a person. But if you're not like me, you're hopefully loving the bike racing that is filling our screens. Speaking of bike racing, welcome to the longest-running podcast covering bikes and bike racing. This is the Packfiller Cycling Podcast. I'm Pat Bolger, and a bit truncated on the panel tonight, but that just means the conversation will actually flow. They're gonna give me shit as soon as they hear that. That's right, we are Waples free tonight. David is out and about, and Sam is taking some personal time. Sam, hope all is well with you. Sam is fine, but I'll just leave it at that. That leaves the three of us to answer tonight's prologue question. You guys ready? Mm-hmm. What's a strange combination of flavors that you enjoy? Strange combinations that you enjoy. It's like pickles and ice cream. That's a pregnant thing. But so there we go. Do I need to give you a few more seconds, Paul?
I don't think I have anything.
You don't think I have anything?
Because it seems normal to me.
Oh, okay. So it might seem odd to the rest of us.
I could tell you what my dad liked.
Okay. Well, hold on. First of all, he proudly brags that the fact that he hasn't used his air conditioner in his car, and we have yet over 2 weeks in the 90s, Mr. Paul Main. How are you, man?
Yeah, and hundreds.
Yeah, and you why? This is that old man that I'm gonna beat it kind of a thing, and you're driving around, or you just windows open.
I think a little bit of that. I think there's, but I do like the heat. This is my time of year, and I just try and bask in it as much as possible, because come November is the worst month. We were talking about bad months. That's the worst month for me. It's dark. It's cold. It's the most precipitation that Spokane gets is in that time period.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
I always thought it was February.
No.
I hate February.
No, it is November.
Really? Okay.
So, and it's usually freezing rain.
Yeah.
Snow, melt off. It's gross.
Yeah.
And we have 8 hours of daylight or whatever.
This is true.
This is miserable.
I work in basements, so those months are like I get to work and it's dark, and I leave work and it's dark, and I come out and it's oh my god. But what's the obsession with no air conditioning?
I don't know. I just it's unnecessary. I don't think it's really. I mean, there's some people just live by it, and nothing makes me more cranky than going to a movie or a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I understand majority of the people want it, but it's 62 degrees. It's this is ridiculous. I mean, people, you could see them, everybody's bundling up, trying to eat or watch a movie.
Yeah.
My wife brings a sweater, and she likes it cold, but
yeah,
she went to a movie with our granddaughter last Thursday, and she took a sweater.
Yeah.
And she goes,
It's
and I
that
needed
bad.
it. Yeah. But she's the one that's complaining that it's 73 degrees in her place. It's still too hot. And I'm like, oh, I've got the
that's
long
because
sleeve
she
on.
can have a blanket in the house,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, my wife's the same way. It's that mentality. It's like they like that cuddling up in a blanket kind of a thought. But like today, she came in to the living room. She, oh my God, it's freezing in here. I said, it's the same temperature as it is in the winter in here. It's 73 degrees in here. She's like, oh God, I'm freezing. I'm not turning down the AC because I finally am inside, or I was down here and it was a little warm. So, what are your flavors that you combine that nobody else would, you think are completely normal?
I can't think of any combination. I'm the type of person that eats one thing at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I eat all my vegetables.
1,000% with you.
Yeah,
my food can't touch.
The blending of, I don't know. I do like chocolate and like peppers, and some people think that's weird.
That's a little weird.
But like you can put like how I've had habaneros and dark chocolate.
Oh, that's pretty. Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's other cayenne pepper and stuff. It goes well with chocolate. That's not too unusual, but I know a lot of people don't like it.
Yeah.
And smoked bacon, and I don't like milk chocolate, but smoked bacon and milk chocolate's better than dark chocolate.
Interesting.
Really?
Yeah, it's a good combination.
What was your dad's?
A peanut butter and onion sandwich.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's a winner.
Yeah.
That's
that's
definitely a winner. Next off, Jackson, I'm not gonna lie. I stared at this computer for a while, and the only thing for my introduction, and I don't please don't take this as an insult, was he brought the cupcakes, man. That's just
no, I don't.
That was like my birthday party. You brought the cupcakes, so that was perfect. So, Mr. Jackson Bulger, how are you, dude?
Good.
What's your flavor combo? Do you got one?
I don't really have like a weird flavor combo.
Really?
Honestly. No, I kind of just, I take a whole handful of Skittles and have that all at once. But
that's wrong.
But I don't feel like that's weird. I feel like a lot of people do that.
I now do that with my gummy bears, though. I now just go full handfuls. I don't do that. I do one at a time. Well, or I'll do my special combination. So I'm wrong there.
Yeah. I don't know. What my wife does is she does. So like whenever we go to like a restaurant that has like a fountain drink, so you like get your own drinks.
I'm glad you said fountain drink. She's not like
no, she likes
drinking
to drink
out of the golden
no.
goldfish pond.
Yeah, no.
Honey, not again. Get out of here.
Yeah.
We only got so many restaurants left.
Yeah, no. Luckily not that. Whenever we go to to get like a fountain drink, she does half Sprite and then half Powerade.
Ooh.
And that is actually not bad.
Carbonated Powerade a little bit there, a little sweeter. I used to, when we were kids, did you ever do the
graveyard
mix? Yeah, that's what they called it.
Yeah.
You just mix everything.
Well, that's
disgusting.
Then
you
it's
didn't
brown.
No, 100% Coca-Cola or wouldn't
I
drink water.
I did it.
The same
was
way.
stupid.
Yeah.
I did.
I don't know, though. I'm trying to think if there's like a weird soda combination, but there really isn't.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
How about dipping French fries into your chocolate shake?
See, I do enjoy
Frosty
that.
or something like that?
I do like that, but I feel like so many people do it now.
That sounds messed up to me.
Honestly, it's not. You would like it. You would enjoy it. Yeah. It's just like that.
Bad.
No, because the ice cream, the flavor of the ice cream takes over most of it, and then you just have a little bit of that French fry flavor.
Just that saltiness.
Yeah. It's actually
sweet and salty
pretty
is
good.
what you're getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Me, I am now a speed limit. I'm Pat Bulger, and my flavor popped into my head when I saw this question. I like peanut butter and butter sandwiches. I don't. I think honestly, and I found out this later in life, that my mom actually didn't intend for me to like it. She just didn't have any jelly in the house, and so she made a peanut butter and butter sandwich, thinking she could trick me or something like that. And I ate it, and I loved it. And she's like, "Wow, that's messed up, but I'll keep making it for you."
Are you one of those people that likes peanut butter to a point where you could eat like a jar of peanut butter?
I could eat a spoonful of it.
Yeah, because there are
we used
people
to
out
call
there that are like that.
Peanut butter suckers when we were
Paul,
kids.
you
Paul,
like that?
you have peanut butter and jelly every day, right?
Every
Still?
day, pretty
Yeah.
much. I have peanut butter on my English muffins in the morning.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, and I get the Jif that's natural with a touch of honey in it.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't have hydrogenated crap in there and stuff. So it's
creamy or crunchy?
Creamy, 100%.
Okay.
Crunchies. That's you're not done with making peanut butter. Butter, right? Would you take your butter that goes on your sandwich with your peanut butter if it was all lumpy?
Well, sometimes in the morning
curds
when the butter's still cold. Yeah.
No, I'm talking curds. That's what it is.
Jackson grew up on crunchy peanut butter, so you had no choice.
That's what my wife and I still buy that.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I do too. I hate the shit you have to stir though. I don't have that kind of time in my life.
I don't like the stuff you have to re-stir.
Yeah.
So once you've stirred it, I hate that there's more oil that comes up and you have to do it again.
Yeah.
That's just too much work.
We're off the rails here, but that's okay. Does anybody use the machine at the grocery store with the peanuts in it, and you just press the button and it makes peanut butter for you right there?
I've done it.
They also have it with almonds too. Mm-hmm. You just grinds them. And it's like, I want one of these
into
in my
a
house.
paste.
Yeah, I want one of these in my house. It's delicious.
Yeah, we don't really ever do that, but I have had it before.
It's good shit.
Yeah.
It's good shit. All right, gentlemen, I guess we'll get to it. How has your cycling life been in the past week? Oh, boy. We did get a ride in on Saturday as a group, which was my 55th birthday. And apparently Sam signaled to hit the front at full gas. It just goes to show that he's not here. And I think Sam is... I'm finally coming to the realization that Sam's kind of a dick. Am I the only one?
He likes being a dick. He plays the
yeah.
dick.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Of course he does. The guy's a gigantic, wonderful person, but he's also a dick. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and that whole ride, he was just like going, I feel good today. I'm going to go really, really hard. Pat, and at one point, he said to me in the ride, he yelled from the front of the group, Pat, this is your birthday present. I'm going to make you, what did he say?
Break your legs.
He said, for your birthday, I'm going to give you lactic acid.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
Yeah. And then on the base of the next climb, I said to him at the top of my lungs, with age comes wisdom. And I slowly drifted off the back. Which was my revenge.
Mm-hmm. And who came back with you?
He did. You did.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's right.
See, we're not idiots.
It's the age thing.
Yeah. How many rides you guys get in this past 7 days between shows?
Between shows, I did Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, and then I did a good walk with my wife on Sunday.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
So 3.
3.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Paul?
Just Saturday and today.
Yeah, I was Saturday and yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to look you in the eye, Paul, because I took my gravel bike out for the first time in 2024. I took my gravel bike out, and it's amazing how the tire sealant actually sets when you finally ride the bike. I had gotten the tires all ready to rock. And it's just been sitting there. You know, I did that, I think, back in March. I got the bike ready to rock, and I filled it with sealant, and then I just kind of left it there. Boy, you go for a ride, and the sealant will go into a lot of those different places that you didn't think it needed to. But I did. It felt really good to get out. It was nice. But that and Saturday were the only things I really got. My wife and I were technically on a vacation this last week, and we were supposed to be camping this whole week for my birthday, and triple digits Fahrenheit and 2 dogs in an RV is just a recipe for a divorce. And so we decided that we were going to stay home. So we just did a bunch of kind of not so meaningless tasks, but kind of meaningless tasks. We went to, went to the hardware store and bought all kinds of random shit. And then we were full Americans. But, but there was one moment in particular, and I kind of want to delve into this a little bit. And this is kind of off the rails too. So our show might be a little off the rails. I want to ask you guys about the institution that is Costco. For those of you in the UK or listening somewhere else and you don't know Costco, imagine Costco is a gigantic discount store, but everything is in bulk. Primarily, everything is in bulk. And I had a traumatic experience at Costco. And when I say that, traumatic, you got to remember that it's me talking. And you got to remember that I'm making a big deal out of potentially nothing. But the people at Costco are horrible. The decline of modern civilization is wandering the aisles at Costco looking for a paper cup filled with 3-bean salad that they can eat or their kid is going to spit out. It is the worst place in the world to examine the human condition, in my personal experience. Do you guys go to Costco?
Nope.
You don't. Paul, you don't. Jackson, do you?
We have a membership, yes.
You do. How do you handle the people?
So it's funny because I talked to my wife about how you got angry about Costco. And I kind of get angry about it too. There was one trip a couple of times ago where I was particularly annoyed. And it's just, it's the people. I always feel like kind of tense, like I have to watch out, or I have to I almost feel like that last lap of a bike race for like 45 minutes.
I'm going to bring that into cycling too. Yeah. So thank you. That's perfect. So
I always feel like I have to catch gaps. I always feel like I have to cut off other people. I really do. It's like, I go into like driving in Portland, or like I said, last lap of a crit, like that type of mentality. But now what we do is my wife and I have made a deal that we always have to like get something afterwards. So like whether it be a sweet treat or whether it be like a lunch, I'm like a dog.
Nerves.
Yeah,
dime bag of cocaine.
Yeah, I'm like a dog. I need my treat afterward, or else I will misbehave. I will be so angry. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
It like helps me earn it.
I just and Paul, we can probably you can probably associate this with busy places in particular.
Well,
and
I've been to Costco. We used to have membership, and I know exactly what you're talking about. But we don't go for that particular reason. And not only that, you buy peanut butter, and it's going to be...
Absolutely.
This is a year supply when there's only two of us. There's not... When we had kids, you get the multi-meal,
cereal.
And it's going to take them, instead of 1 day, like 5 days, to finish up.
And we were going to buy milk, and it's like the only choice is 2 gallons of milk, and I'm like, that is going to go bad in our house.
Wine is good there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alcohol in general is a very good thing.
It's just you can't get samples of that while some old lady's cutting you off to get to her bacon, or the families with kids and the parents apparently think this is some sort of a fucking slumber party where the kids can just go running everywhere all over the place staring at their devices. And yes, I sound like an old person right now, and I understand that. I'm embracing it. I'm giving my inner old person a big hug because it's just, come on. One of you, you can't, you and your significant other can't just pick one person to maybe stay at home with the little ones at that moment and just get your shopping done. So I know that's an asshole thing to say, but
well, and it sucks.
The sheer audacity of the human condition and how the brain just shuts off.
Mm-hmm. And it sucks too, because like you get home and you're like, this is all the stuff you get, you're happy about.
Yeah.
Because when I go, we get like stuff for lunches, we get stuff for snacks, we get stuff like that we actually will use, and it makes it like a worthwhile trip. But while you're there, you're like, I could just run this cart into anyone and it doesn't matter. And the outdoor shit you'll find, like the camping stuff or like the little gadgets here and there, like there's so much cool stuff there, but just everybody sucks.
If you show an inkling of polite nature, they will eat you alive. Yeah. So if you are pushing your cart, excuse me, my teeth whistled there. If you're pushing your cart and you stop to let somebody pass, they will. It's like traffic in LA. They will just like going, fuck you then. And you're waiting there for 19 carts to come by, and people are just clueless. And I think the design of the store is meant to incite chaos too. The sample people are just meant to just make your life a living hell. And I think they tell the people doing samples just like going, screw people, just have fun. Just watch the insanity prevail, because yes, you're going to have absolutely, you're cooking bacon in a tiny little 1-burner stove. Undercook it, fuck it, just poison them. They're going to be fine. Another one's going to come and take their place. It's like the 3-headed dog. Mm-hmm. They're just going to keep living.
So I have an idea.
Yeah.
What if we really got into this and we started treating it like a road? What if we did roundabouts at Costco? Because if you think about it,
I love it.
Because if you think about it, there are 2 arterials, right? With a bunch of side roads, no stop signs or stoplights anywhere you go.
Yeah.
And it's pandemonium. And so you're going through and you're like thinking about the fact that there could be some sort of like regulation system here. Why can't trying to get off of one of the side aisles and into the main arterials is like hell. I hate that.
If you even pressed a button that just allowed you to merge in 30 seconds, that would be, holy shit, that's
You'd be in and out like that.
Mm-hmm. It's the IKEA mentality, where you got to follow the maze.
Yes, and that's why the Swedish are better than we are.
They don't allow Skittles. You can't have Skittles. They don't sell Skittles there. Just to let you know.
The yellow
Because
ones
of
are
the colors.
carcinogenic.
Yeah, yellow and the red.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they used a certain color that made them carcinogenic.
Yeah, and they create hyperness and there's other kind of effects. Yeah.
Well, sign me up, because
They're
there's
still
a
better
lot
than
of
us.
that in me.
They're still better than us. How are you guys in general in busy places? Populated places.
I'm usually pretty good. It doesn't bother me. No, the equivalent to me is what you went through at Costco is Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
The aisles are too, and the one that's on the South Hill that my wife likes to go.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's packed.
Yeah.
I mean, it is cart to cart. But the people are way nicer.
But still,
way nicer.
especially in the produce area, brains are shut off.
Yeah.
People are just cutting you off left and right.
Number one thing I hate is somebody leave their cart in the aisle and walk off to grab something else.
Yeah.
You created a traffic jam. So.
Yeah, I would say I'm okay. I think it depends on the area. Costco, I have a tough time with. Trader Joe's makes me really angry. It's because people are unpredictable in those settings. I don't know where they're gonna go, and so I don't know where to put the cart, or I don't know where to put myself.
Like a Cat 4 crit.
Yeah, kind of. The craziest thing I've ever been in though was the Taylor Swift concert, because that is the most people I've ever seen in one concentrated area, and so and Swifties are
they're amped.
Well, and they are determined. These people are. Yes, they are going where they want to go, and they don't care who's in their way. And so I got to a point where I was just like, Maria, hold my hand. We're going. No, not even hold my hand. Hold my shirt.
Really?
Hold the back of my shirt. And I just started walking as fast as I could through all of these like crowds, picking different lines, trying to find my way through it. I get into this mode where it's just like the rest of the world turns off and I can just like find a line that's the fastest.
Yeah. Well, I can do that too. For example, I work in a high school, and so the hallways I can weave in and out. That's no problem. But you put me in a grocery store or a concert or a crowded bar or restaurant, and I tense up and I get angry.
Do you find you get overstimulated?
That might be the indication. That might be it. In a crowded hallway, I'm going somewhere.
Right.
But in a bar, I'm stuck there, and I know that it's going to be 45 minutes to get my beer because somebody in the front is ordering a gin frizz Fitz, whatever, I make.
And then in the background, you go,
yeah, exactly. And I just can't do it. And I've never understood that kind of. Do you guys have the ultimate dipshit rude moment where somebody was just like absolutely cruel to you? I get it all the time. I'm Charlie fucking Brown. I am. When it comes to any situation, I can be behind somebody at Trader Joe's and I can be walking down the aisle and I can look at somebody, and I swear I'm going to make this about cycling soon. I can look at somebody and I can go, that person is going to stop right in front of the item I need. I can say that to myself. And it's like my magic power. They do. They stop. Are they looking for the item that I need? No. They're looking at their phone. They're talking to somebody else. They're going
browsing
around their cart to something else.
Yeah.
So I'll stop my cart and I'll wait.
And they don't notice, do they?
And they don't notice. And then finally I go, "Excuse me." And they look at me like I'm an asshole, and they slowly move their cart out of the way. I grab what I need, and then I walk away. And in my great passive-aggressive nature, I go, "Other people." But I say that to myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So nobody learns anything, and I'm still angry.
Yeah.
You guys aren't going to help me with this.
Nah, can't.
I don't think so.
So how does this translate into a pack mentality when you're in, I don't know, the largest group race you guys have been in, but how do you handle a large pack in a race environment, and how do you navigate that?
I mean, mine's gonna be pretty.
Does it make you tense?
Mine's gonna be pretty quick because I haven't been in like too large of packs. I'm not gonna lie. I wonder if it does kind of go along with personality, though.
BWR, if you think about that,
Yeah.
that was a gun, and you're against 300, 400, 500, 600 riders.
I don't know why. I just didn't really care about pack when it came to that. I was
Really?
just
Okay.
more like, I have to finish this. That
Sure.
was my mentality. I think crit racing is the one that I like. When we went to Everett, those were like probably the biggest crit race pack I've ever had.
Yeah.
But I wonder. What I was saying is, I wonder if it has to do with personality. If you get tense in those big crowded areas, I wonder if it kind of like stresses you out in the same type of situation. Because it doesn't really stress me out that bad. But being kind of newer to like bigger packs, it is something to figure out for me. So I start a race and I am a little tense. But then as I get used to the size and the course, then I don't care as much.
Yeah.
So I think I just have to be acclimated to this, like to the scenario. And I do kind of find that's how I am with crowds as well.
Paul?
Yeah, I think
Because
I
got some opinions.
I've been in plenty 100 plus, and even in
Yeah.
Cat 4s. I mean, when I first started racing, we had crit courses with 75 riders, Cat 4s.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh, where's my
volunteer park where you're descending at 40 plus miles an hour.
Yeah.
But
really
the
tough.
thing is I don't know. There's a part of me, and I was Sam and I were talking about, and my dad being a fire pilot, and I always bring that up. But he was talking about, because he obviously he has this affinity for Maverick.
Yeah.
Sam does.
So yeah.
And it's like
He thinks he's a few, hours in the simulator away from
doing all that
Getting
stuff.
to know it. Yeah.
Talk to me, Goose.
Yeah. So anyway, I was just saying, one of the things that I remember my dad sharing with me was in the moment when you went through pilot training, is that in the trainer, the instructor was behind you, you were up front, and they would create all kinds of scenarios, like you've got a bogey coming at 2 o'clock. You got one on your tail. Kill the motor. Now what are you going to do? Fuel gauge is busted. I mean, they just start throwing these scenarios, and you have to just, if you start panicking, you're going to make the worst decision. You have to prioritize, what do I have to do now? Because if I don't get this thing fired up, I'm dead anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So that's priority one. The next one is try to remember what the fuel gauge is, or the guy at 2 o'clock is not as bad as the guy at 6 o'clock, that type of thing. So, and I think that's where, whether down deep, I mean, I didn't physically think about that in my first couple of crits.
Yeah.
But when you start picking up, it's all about observation. And for me and crits, it's certain people, you see their movement and you're like, that's not safe.
Yeah.
I'm going to get this guy behind me. If I see him in front, I'm going to the other side, or he cuts this corner here, or this whole team's doing this, and I make note of that. And staying calm, I need to get to the, halfway is where you, in my opinion, you have to be in the top quarter of the race in this area, because brakes are now everybody's tired at the halfway point. So it's just that part I love about crit racing is just taking this chaos, and it is chaos, and just settling in and making the right decisions, and sometimes you don't, but make those corrections. So that's how I deal with it.
I've noticed, and I wrote this down while you guys were talking about this, and I don't ever have a problem in a pack, and I've never been stressed. I've never been, I get angry at everything. I get angry at the air, but I also think, and there's one word that popped into my head, and it was objective. You have something you are doing. You have a specific objective that you are there to do. That is to move up. That is to get through this corner ahead of that guy. That is do this. That is do, those things within the context of a race. In Costco, I'm waiting for my wife to find out which pair of $6.98 shorts she wants, and then I can't find her, and then I don't know what exactly we're shopping for. And this isn't a joke. This is 100%. I'm floating through Costco. If I knew I was there to buy batteries, steak, milk, and eggs, and then get the hell out, I am there. I am done. And if this was a 1990s sitcom, that would be the world. That's the man versus the woman mentality.
It's kind of funny, though.
And it's just asinine.
Well, it's funny though, because I was kind of thinking, I do kind of feel like that is a little bit of the male mentality. We go to a store and we have an objective. This is not. I don't think this is a sexist thing at all to say.
No.
But I go to a store. I'll speak personally and say, I have an objective. I go to the grocery store, like Trader Joe's, for instance, and I have an objective. And sometimes what my wife will do is she will be able to browse a lot easier than I can, because I want to go grab my things and get out.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is, but whenever that's skewed, I get angry.
Yeah.
It's just I have no.
Oh my God! Thank you.
I have no
I'm
other.
the same.
I have no other scope. And
when it comes to that.
Holy shit!
And I don't know. I don't know if
This
it's a
is
male
therapy.
mentality thing, but I kind of feel like
I think it is.
when we get our plan messed up, we kind of get a little fussy.
Yeah.
My wife won't even shop with me.
Really?
No.
I-
And she'll say, yeah, you're just a jerk. It's like my objective. I know what these are the pants. This is the size. I got it. Let's go. And she's like, we just got here.
Yeah.
I mean, to her, that's part of the enjoyment of shopping. I don't find shopping all that exciting, and that's just the way it is. Even with Trader Joe's, she has a list, but sometimes she brings stuff home. Where'd you get that? Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
I would have never seen it because I don't shop that way. So there's a benefit to it.
I'm fine with
I'm a
clothing
little of
shopping,
both.
anything but grocery shopping. Grocery shopping is the thing that gets me angry. Even when we go to a regular grocery store, I get angry. I don't know what it is about me. I just am that way.
I grocery shop every day. I that is a very odd thing about me. Every day I wake up in the morning and the first thing in my mind is what are we gonna have for dinner tonight? That just sounds fun. And when I retire, I will shop at multiple grocery stores throughout the day. That's just how I will work. But
that's very European.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
The fridges are that size.
Yeah, and that's what they should be. But I will say that when I'm at a grocery store, I have Post-it notes, and I write down my list before I leave for the grocery store, and I buy the shit on the Post-it note. And if there's something that I forgot to buy, it's because it wasn't on the Post-it note. If it's on the prompter, I'll read it.
It's the objective.
But I do sometimes find stuff at Trader Joe's. I'll walk by and I'll go, grab milk. I'm like, holy shit, they have iced coffee. I'll grab one of those too. So mine's by accident. But in a bike race, you're doing that. You're focused on what you need to do, and there's that specific objective. It's going through a grocery store and picking out your specific items and getting the hell to the finish as fast as you can. And I think that might be the thing. But there is also that herd mentality where, Paul, you mentioned somebody, you're watching somebody who's being sketch and stuff like that. And this is by no means a bash on triathlons. I have announced a bunch of triathlons, and I will notice that, especially in endurance-based events, so I'll say this about gravel riders, I'll say this about, marathoners, I'll say this about those types of things, that the brain almost settles into I have a specific task to do. You could have a road scholar and a sign that says turn left, and they will turn right. And I have seen the smartest people in the world not know how to read a sign. Or and things like that. And so I see that a lot in bike racing, where you've got people who don't know what they're doing or who are nervous about what they're doing or things like that. And it's unbelievable how the human brain does or does not work at those specific points in time. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of moments that I've done it myself, and I'm sure I have. But it's just amazing to see that how you get so dialed into a specific objective, sometimes you don't pay attention to the world around you. And that's the Costco mentality, where you've got that 70-year-old woman who is hell-bent on that 3-bean salad.
Well, I think you struck something for me on that. One was, like in a bike race, picking up like this guy's a little sketchy or something. But pack mentality, I think you see it more in road races as crits. Crits are kind of a survival. It's high speed, making quick decisions. Road racing, you can tell, and I was thinking one in particular that I went on a break, and just because the pack was being lazy, they weren't willing to chase anything down. Once like a group got ahead, everybody just slammed the door shut, and then they set up. No one countered, no anything. Mm-hmm. And to me, I just had to find that, knowing the road, getting all that information, where to attack, and it was in a crosswind situation, threw it in the gutter. No one chased me. I was by myself, and 2 guys ended up bridging up, and we finished 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
So, I mean, that is a different thing. So there is a pack mentality, and if you want to bring it to Costco, it's just that chaotic. Everybody I think we do it in a big group. Whatever seems to be
herd.
Yeah, herd mentality, without a doubt. Crits, I don't think that you just don't have time to do that. Mm-mm. Even on a long 1-hour crit or hour-and-a-half crit, there's a little more tactical. But on road races, you can see, like even today's stage race. I mean, no breakaways. I mean, that was just, I don't know if they verbally or it's just like, no one wanted to do it. Of course, it was the hottest day of the year, but
But I
was gonna say, I kind of feel like when it comes to crit racing, you almost it becomes something that you can't really like just enter in and like master it for the first time. It's almost something that you have to like do so many times over and over and over to be able to like kind of master that pack mentality in a way, because everybody's thinking on a split second. Nobody's really like. I feel like it's very instinctual, crit racing is, and it's something that like when I go into Costco, I know that I'm prepared for like so and so is going to do that. Like you can't really like
you're eyeing an old lady at the start. She's going to she's going to run that cart in my ankles.
Well, exactly.
I'm like taking her out. I'm sweeping her wide into the TVs.
You can like read it, but then like as a crit racer, I find that like it's all reactionary. Every little nuance of everything. It's like you have to be paying attention to everybody at once, but also one thing at once. It's a weird.
You're developing an instinct.
Yeah, very instinctual.
So and there are I've had this discussion with many cyclists over the years about that instinct that you do develop as a cyclist over the years, over time, especially when you're training and riding in traffic. Have you guys ever been able to predict the behavior of a car before they even do it?
Oh yeah.
Quite often. Is it, what triggers it? Is it that's a brown Chevy, it's a piece of shit, they're going to cut me off? Or is it, what is it that triggers that person has not hit their turn signal, I know they're about to turn left in front of me and cut me off?
I find that you can kind of tell by we talk about the little nuances, the little things that certain drivers will show in certain situations. Like I can always tell on a freeway when somebody wants over, when they're not close enough to the other side. They're not close enough to that middle part of that lane. When a driver starts to drift a little bit, like I would say maybe even half a foot closer to that line that is separating us, that's when I can tell they're going to want over. But I also kind of like, it sounds weird, but I get this feeling on each side of my body that I can tell like, oh, like there's some sort of want that the other person has, like to gain over me, or like to that will affect me somehow. And it's a weird thing because I can almost like, to describe it, it's like you get kind of numb chills or like
Peter
dull
tingle?
chills. Yeah, you kind of do though. It's like a weird feeling that I've
Spider
developed
sense.
over the years. Yeah.
It's a weird thing that I agree does develop, and it's such a odd sensation to go, I know what that fucker's gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's important to be focused on that. It's out there because some people, I've ridden with people who've been riding for a long time that don't have any of those senses. They don't. I don't know why. Whether they just don't apply them or even think they exist. But you know, when I see, because my commute is pretty fast going down this hill from the top of Mount Spokane. Top of Spokane, South Hill.
Yeah.
And then down to downtown. And there's several streets that people are going to turn
Which one are you
into
coming
traffic.
down?
Stevens, it would be Grove and Stevens.
Yeah.
And dropping down there. And I know I'm speeding. I'm doing about 40, 45 down that.
So is everybody else in their
yes,
Subaru.
in the cars.
Yeah.
But they usually I can stay with them or pass them.
Yeah.
But you can tell when a car comes, and it's not even have to eye contact. You have to see that head swivel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just the movement.
Yeah.
If you see him like look past or look straight, my fingers are on the trigger.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they looked right through me if they did. They're not, because to me, when you see a bike, most people register 15 miles an hour.
They don't
Even though-
assume you're going that fast.
That's it. Even if you're going downhill. And if they don't clue in, that's what registered when they first take a look. If they just take a snap look, no matter what speed I'm going, I'm ready to hit the binders because they're not going like, oh, wait, that's coming faster than I thought. Usually that calculation takes more than just a whip of the head. So.
We were. This just popped into my head too. We were talking about bike technology before we went on the air. We were talking about computer technology and lights and things that work to sense cars approaching or things like that. Mm-hmm. Do you think that detracts from adapting and learning that sensation? Do you think having something going beep beep, car behind, takes away even the third eyes and the mirrors? I saw a mirror on a fork blade that was sticking out probably 12 inches on a bike when we passed on the bike ride. And I said, that is the farthest out I've ever seen a rear view mirror. The ability to turn your head while you're on your bike and keep the handlebars straight is a skill that is something that bike riders should learn. I don't want to sound elitist, but are these things taking away from these? I mean, they are good. They are adding. They are contributing. But are they also reducing that natural skill that we learn, quote unquote, in the wild?
Yeah, I mean, I think that. I mean, when I'm just driving to work and driving here, for instance, I see a lot of headlights during the daytime and like flashing and everything. And part of me wonders if they do give some sort of false sense of security, knowing that, a driver definitely sees me, so I don't have to be as worried about it. Or the turn of the head, like the skills that a lot of us, for instance, just take for granted because we do it all the time. Whenever I'm on one of the trails or even driving around and I see people on, whether it be an e-bike or these little like just dirt bikes that are, half a foot high. I always say like not everybody needs a motor or like not everybody should be going that fast. Cause I do feel like the e-bike, for instance, is a great invention, but I find that the skills that we have possessed that we do take for granted, a lot of them don't. Like going at such a high speed. I'm getting a little into the weeds on this, but like going at such a high speed.
Lime scooters. I keep thinking of that too. People going 20 miles an hour.
People don't realize that a slight twitch of the bars is a big movement that will send you over them. Yeah. It's just something that is so different because I know that when we are going 40 miles an hour, that just the slightest little movement will really shift my weight and really move me a lot further than a lot of other people will expect. So I think that some of those things are taken for granted.
Yeah, I think technology is good, but I think it's still, you have to learn the skill outside that. People start relying on that as opposed to the other skill. That's an example of that. Backup cameras I think, are really great and probably save a lot of lives.
Yeah.
And my city car has one. And if I start backing up and another car that I can't see, I'll get that.
Scream at you?
It'll start
Yeah.
beep, 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 beep,
Yeah.
and let me know. But not all cars do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
you're going to
I've
get into
seen
a
at
car and
stores,
you're going to be relying upon it and
exactly.
not, you're
and you're going to back up
because
I don't hear it.
Yeah.
Or just using that as the only way to look. They're not looking. I see people use that backup camera just to back up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's still other, the front end of your car can sweep and hit, the front end. You're just looking at this camera that's not really accurate in distance and everything. So it can be a hindrance. It should be in addition to your standard,
And
like even getting back to the bike with the little beep, beep, beep.
Yeah.
If that makes you feel any better, then that's great. I always know I'm never surprised when a car comes up behind me, even if I have headphones. There is a sense that you pick up.
And you know what? That I think Paul, you and I grew up. I remember going on long rides with a cassette player in my back pocket and like 4 other cassettes because I knew I was going to be listened to. I was going to be gone that long, so I'd take a different cassette every hour. That was what my jersey pockets were full of, and I can remember being completely safe riding that way. But I will say that today, the fact that I can ride with headphones where I can still hear a car. Or if somebody screams at me, I can't hear what they're saying, but I can hear that they're screaming at me. That is such an amazing advancement. And I will say that, I see a lot of people in headphones riding who have no clue. You even exist in the world next to them. They've got their tunes cranked so loud. And it's, on your left, on your left, on your left, on your left. And then you come up alongside them and they're like shocked and they yell at you because they couldn't hear you. And there's so many of these things. I'm running around, but it started with this mentality, the human mentality, and how we are unaware of the world around us, and sometimes it has bad connotations. So that one, I don't know. I had fun with that one. You guys got me going. Thank you. No, I got you guys going. So let's jump to. In case you guys didn't know, there's this little bike race happening in France. So let's get into the racing world, brought to us by our friends from Scratch Labs. I just jumped onto their website, by the way, and grabbed some salted margarita everyday hydration. Like, it's almost like, hey, it's okay to be an alcoholic. No, but because I'm anxious to try this as just like I'm sure it's going to be a salty kind of a lime flavor, and it's everyday hydration. You put it in your bottle to walk around and drink it, and it'll encourage me to drink more water during the day. And I also got some orange tangerine, which I think will be kind of a nice thing for me. But I also got online to Scratch, and I bought 11 new water bottles.
Nice.
When was the last time you guys cleaned house on water bottles? Paul and I were talking about it this weekend.
Yeah. Man, I haven't gotten rid of a water bottle in so long. I mean, I still have some of the original Scratch bottles, the specialized
the red ones.
The red ones. Yeah, I still use those ones. But
are they clean? They look good?
Yeah, I don't use the moldy ones. I throw those ones out.
You do. So you have cleaned house on water bottles.
I had to get rid of the Camelback ones because they got so much like black spot in them.
Yeah, that's no good.
No.
Yeah, I've got some black spots in some bottles right now.
I stay on top of the specialized red specialized
I love those
Scratch
bottles.
ones. Yeah,
they were great bottles.
Absolutely.
They don't collect as much.
No, it's a different plastic, and I was talking about it because I bought I think 6 of they're white. I'm trying to think.
The Elite.
Is it Elite?
They're Elite. Yeah.
The nipple on it is hard and only feels a little bit cheesy and stuff like that. But what I do like about it,
I'm such a child. Hard nipples. Paul's got hard nipples.
But
sorry.
And it squeezes. I mean, the Specialized squeezes better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go again. And but the other ones I do like because they're white, and on one side, he's going nuts. On one side, it's yellow and green, and they have Scratch on each side. And the other one is red and orange.
Yeah.
And because I am who I am, I always drink on the seat 2 bottle first, and then I drink the down 2 bottle.
Do you really?
Interesting.
Always.
I switch.
So-
I start on the down 2 bottle, and then I switch the
The
bottles
bottles.
over.
So do I.
I always drink from the down 2 bottle.
So do I.
So that's how I do it.
Wow.
So with the new colors, I start with both of the green on the outside where it's visible. if I'm done, I turn, because so many times I
Never
reach down and
stop.
I just grab, and it's like, oh, this is empty.
yeah.
I forgot that now I got a little red light, green light thing. So
Good idea.
This is the greatest ad we've done for Scratch.
Yeah.
They have specialized bottles. They do have specialized bottles, 22-ounce bottles. They have the Elite 16-ounce, and they have the Elite 24-ounce bottles. And I bought a mix of all of the above. And I'm going to slowly start throwing away all my older bottles, which I have had for way too long.
That's a good idea.
I check the insides of your bottles, folks. I mean, it's just the powders and the things like that we're putting into them can just, oh, God, think what you're doing to yourself. So let's get to the, by the way, check out scratchlabs.com or just click the logo at packfiller.com. That was a really long ad, but it was good. Under a week to go, can we all say that things are looking good for the Giro Tour double for the first time since Marco Bontani?
Yeah, right now.
I want you to know, the beginning of the year, we were talking about,
We were.
and I said he'll do the double this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
But it's not over.
No.
It's not over.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So currently we have Tadej sitting, obviously in first with a 3:09 gap over Jonas Vingegaard, 5:19 over Remco, Joao Almeida. That ain't going to happen. They're teammates, but that's 10:54. And then we go all the way down. I'm trying to think anybody else in there that, that's really going to, strike while the iron's hot is, anywhere between 11 to 16 minutes down. So a 3-minute gap on Jonas Vingegaard, who has still seen, who showed, it felt like he really tried to show his colors on what was it, 16?
No, 16 was
17.
today.
No, we were 8.
No.
No, shit. I've been looking at numbers so
Anyway,
much.
yeah.
On Saturday.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, Sunday.
Sunday.
Who still, in your opinion, in the terms of the overall, has something to worry about,
Oh,
if anyone?
I don't know if anybody really does.
There's a 2-minute and 10-second gap between second and third on the podium.
You're just talking GC.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have a new battle today.
Well, I'll get to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I think that Tadej shipped 8 minutes last year. It was something like that on one of the climbs. So I'm not saying it's over till it's over.
Yeah.
But right now, from what we've seen, it doesn't really seem like anybody has anything to worry about. I think first is pretty much wrapped up. Second is wrapped up, and third is as well. Because then the gap to fourth is like large.
It's over 5 minutes.
Yeah. I will say
between Evenepoel and Joao Almeida.
Yeah. Big up to Remco for how he's ridden this tour. This has been impressive from what I've seen from him as compared to the other two, because the other two are just ridiculous.
It's been interesting to see him understand his current levels and his abilities and not ride outside of those. He's ridden very
You're
intelligently.
talking about Remco?
Remco. Yeah. It's been really interesting watching him, again, mature before our eyes. He knows where he is at this point, and he's riding within those limits. The attacks go off, and he's like, I'm not going with that because it isn't going to work. I know where I can go and what I can do, and that's signs of maturity. Look, the little boy's grown up. Little baby is out of the nest.
Look at that.
Yeah, who would have thought? Rumors of him, however, jumping ship for 2025.
To where?
I did read something online, and don't shoot me if I'm wrong, about Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe.
That would be a smart move
Yeah.
for both.
Yeah. Yeah. Except for Patrick Lefevre. What does anybody have anything that it would take to upset the apple cart? Are we pretty much, major disasters away from seeing this top 3 podium in France at the end of this next week?
I mean,
we do have some major climbing here to go between now and Sunday.
And a TT.
And a TT. So nothing.
I mean, no, I've for the first time in 2 years, this is the first time that I have seen just Tade's at another level. Mm-hmm. It's crazy because you saw Jonas go off on that attack on Sunday.
Yeah.
And he was there, and the entire time I was thinking, kind of hamper your expectations here. You've seen him blow on these type of situations. But then he was there, and I could physically see when Jonas cracked. I even said out loud.
He looked over his shoulder.
Yeah.
He gave him a pull through.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I audibly, I was sitting next to
I'm done.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's all yours, buddy.
Yeah.
I was sitting next to my wife on the couch, and I said, Vingegaard's done. I audibly said that out loud because I could just see it right in that moment, and that's when he went. And it was just like, this is a different tour than we've seen in the past 2 years.
Do you think the team car for Visma said, Tade's looking pretty good at 10K? Mark, did you see? He's standing up, grabs a bottle.
He's off the bars.
Yeah, off the bars. and
how frustrating would that be?
No kidding. And
never mind.
Jonas,
I live that.
Jonas is like low and trying to get his arrow, even going up that hill because they were flying up there.
Yeah.
And Tade was on his game, and it was a hot day. I've heard some people say that was a stupid move on Visma. They have to make a move.
You can't just sit back.
The chink in his armor is steep, hard climbs, there's some steep, hard stuff, and that's where they tried to stick him with the sword, and it was hot.
Yeah.
So you got to give him kudos, as opposed to just what are you going to wait for?
Yeah.
What are you going to wait for?
Yeah. And what I love about the modern Tour de France is there are so many things. Yes, please. There are so many things going on that keep the race going. They keep the race exciting. Yes, we know in theory the overall is locked up. We've got some stages we can get excited about, but most importantly, the green jersey competition, I think, is the most interesting thing that we came out of today with. Number one was the fact that Jasper Philipsen won the stage. Number two was the fact that Biniam Girmay crashed. Mm-hmm. So that basically, eradicates all the points that Girmay could have achieved today. He currently sits at 376 points. Mm-hmm. Jasper Philipsen sits at 344 points. So 76 minus 44, 602, 7654, 32 points. Or no, I'm 44, 54, 64, 74. Yeah, 32 points. I was right the first time.
Yeah.
Holy shit. In terms of the race for the green jersey, there are no, thank you, Paul, there are no sprinter stages officially left. However, tomorrow has a sprint at 115K. There's a mile climb before it. Jasper Philipsen said today that his chances of obtaining the green are slim because of Girmay's ability to climb. He's going to be sore as shit tomorrow. Yeah. No fractures they came out of today. Yeah. No fractures, anything like that. But he fell down hard. Did you see his brake levers? They're pointing straight out. The brake levers were. I mean, he severed both brake levers. Thursday's stage has 2 Category 3 climbs prior, and stage 19 has 1 early. Mm-hmm. So these are sprint points. I don't know off the top of my head what the points totals are for those preliminary sprints, but I guarantee you they're probably, all 3 of them would equate to probably 30 or 32 points.
For sure.
What do you guys think is, where we stand on that one? This is obviously a competition that is not over yet. Am I wrong?
No, I don't think so at all. I think that we now see what we talk about when we talk about the GC battle is I think we're going to start seeing the battle of the team and who has the stronger one. And I think that I was going to say I think that Jasper Philipsen has a rainbow colored quiver or a arrow in his quiver that I don't think Girmay quite has. And so I think that Van der Poel is going to make a very big difference in this green jersey race. I think that we're going to start seeing them go. Well, they will go off the front in the next week. And I'm interested to see how Van der Poel can get Philipsen in these breakaways in a much better capacity than the Intermarché team might be able
has
to.
got the gas. I mean, look at him in Milan San Remo for crying out loud.
Oh,
yeah.
I completely agree.
Paris-Roubaix and Tour of Flanders, he does fine. He can climb.
Yeah.
I mean, short, punchy climbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not a slouch.
So, okay, we got a hell of
a
competition on our head. Do you have what you're rooting for?
Yeah. Not Philipsen. Anybody but Philipsen.
Yeah. And I think I've asked this before. Do we equate that to Unchained? Showing us his? Did the editors show us a Jasper Philipsen that we do or do not want to see?
It didn't help.
Yeah.
I mean, I think even before, just kind of his attitude too, when Milieri did I think it was Milieri that was with him. Those two were the two sprinters. They had a sprinter, and it was a battle. And Jasper's attitude was a little bit different. This is 3 years ago or whatever, 2 years ago. In my opinion, I'm like, I didn't like his attitude. And then even before the first Unchained, when he was winning, his attitude,
the disaster.
I'm like, oh man, I don't know. I just don't like his attitude. But
yeah. I mean, I'm
gotta love the characters.
Oh yeah, I'm also rooting for Girmay because it would probably be a historic win if he were to win it.
Definitely would be.
Yeah.
He also good for the sport. Good for Africa. Good for
yeah. He just seems like a nice guy.
He does. He seems like a cool dude. Yeah. And it's so easy to root for a nice guy.
Did you see him go and congratulate Cavendish when he got his win?
Yeah, in his interview.
I don't know if I saw that one.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of his interview, he came and he just said, good job.
Oh.
And he says, Cavendish and Sagan, this is Girmay. He said, I have their posters on my wall.
That still blows me away.
And he still has
these guys who are idolizing and to be competing against your idols. I would shit my pants every time I saw somebody like that. You know, if I were to, in my childhood, I had Sean Kelly, posters, and if I were to line up in a race next to Sean Kelly, there's no fucking way. I would have been just like, okay, I'll go away now. I would have lost it.
I will say that
we're not worthy.
Yeah.
I do see a lot of, I see a lot more Sagan in him, in Girmay. Just the way he can compete in those uphill finishes, and then he does kind of have that killer instinct like Cavendish might in a finish. But I will say there are two paths for that rider if he wins the green jersey. One, I think he goes to a stronger team. Or two, I think that Intermarché becomes a lot stronger, and we start seeing a lot more of those classics riders kind of go that way. And I think it's a lot of money winning the green jersey, and all this sponsorship deal. So I think that it's going to be interesting to see how that team progresses within the next year.
It'd be pretty cool because that team organization has been around for so long, and they are loyal. They're the Wanty Gobert, original folks have been around for a long time. And that'd be cool to see that kit. I'm not a fan of it, but it'd be cool to see that kit achieve something like that. Speaking of kits, and before I step away from De Koning Alpecin, how about the Rest Day rainbow kit? Did you guys see that? Oh, it was not only the rainbow stripes, but it was in the colors of the purple, which my watch now currently I'm in a purple and yellow mode for my numbers because of that classic Mercier
for
Poulidois, that and so they did a rainbow world champions jersey in those colors that Matthew rode on the Rest Day.
Wow.
And it's pretty cool. If you haven't seen it, look it up. It looks really cool. How surprised are you guys with Vingegaard's performance? Is it a pleasant surprise, or is it's obvious he's a step or two off from the crash?
Yeah, I mean,
not to diminish Tade's he's doing, but
no.
Are we looking at a 100% Jonas Vingegaard?
It's such an interesting question, because is this 100% Jonas, or is this just 150% Tade?
That's the question. Yeah. That's a great way to put it.
Because I think that on that stage that he won, we saw him at a level that we have seen before.
Yeah.
That has blown the doors off of him. But I kind of, you think about other aspects. You think about the team aspect. UAE brought such a strong team to this race, and Visma kind of had their team hampered a little bit.
Yeah.
So I don't know, because I don't know if this is the Vingegaard we would have seen last year, or if Tade's just
that much better.
Yeah, if he's unbelievable.
Tade was coming off of a wrist fracture last year.
Yeah.
That hampered his training coming in. Not as serious as obviously as what Vingegaard went through.
Yeah, no kidding.
But
yeah,
I guess we're never going to know, and we just have to enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
It is what it is. That's bike racing. How many times you hear somebody go, well, you won the race because so-and-so wasn't here. Well, that's just the way it goes. You can't.
Yeah.
There can't be an asterisk after everything.
Yeah.
Well, I had the flu 2 days ago, or that's just the way it was done. So, I'll be interesting to see next year for sure. I think, in my opinion, Vingegaard is a lot better off than I thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
But I think he's just missing that edge, and this is we're getting at that part of because of. When you focus on the tour, you can do your 20-minute power. You can sustain that into the third. When you go down and you're in the hospital in the bed, you're starting from scratch, and you have to wonder maybe he can still do that. That's not taking away anything from Tade, because I think the way he's racing now is stronger than I've ever seen him win. In my opinion.
I am so impressed with what Vingegaard is doing, though. After seeing that crash, I remember seeing that crash, just going, "Shit, that's it." That is a Froome level career ender.
Yeah.
But here he is. Hi, Chris. If you were the director of a team that has not yet won a stage or not achieved their expectations or goals, what would your tactic be? For example, I can go through the teams that have, and you can agree with me or disagree with me in the terms of if they have or have not. For example, Lidl Trek. Losing Mads Pedersen. You gave a little head shake there.
Because I will continuously say that I was right about that team.
God damn it!
I think Mads Pedersen is unbelievable, but
he's not
he'd
there.
Be an amazing lead-out man. Milan.
Yeah. What would you be doing? I mean, they are currently sitting with a top 10 rider in Giacone.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that he was probably there.
Would you say anything in these last 3 days, or is it just shit?
If you're trying to get your name on the list of stuff, on finishes, I would. Coming up, there's a couple of good breakaway days. I don't see the GC guys chasing. There's going to be guys down.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see some breakaways get away a little bit. That's your only hope.
Yeah. Okay. We got to obviously go fast with the rest of the teams. Uno X, should they walk with their heads held high with what they did with the mountains, with the climbers jersey? Yeah. Decathlon AG Desert, what would you do? Are they happy, or should they be good?
They're probably disappointed because they've had a great year. They had fantastic, and then now zero.
They have. Bahrain victorious.
That's a
shocker. COVID problem there.
Yeah. Is it?
They've been sick,
Okay. Groupama FDJ.
What do they expect?
Disappointed. They're not even in the mix though.
No, that's the problem. Yeah, Mark Mattio's got to be pissed this year. I would imagine. Movistar, and I don't know about you guys watching. You guys assume you guys are watching the same coverage I am.
Yeah.
It seems like Enric Mas is not a well-liked person when it comes to the peloton or to the commentators.
That's the way he races.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just, they can't work something out. Do we equate that with a management issue? I mean, does this start at the top? I never watched the original documentary, but I hear it's a freaking train wreck.
Yeah.
Are they
it sounds like it.
train wreck.
Alex Dowsett, and also think of Matteo Jorgensen.
Yeah.
The world's difference. Well, he just said, everything that if he wanted to do a wind tunnel test, he had to pay for it. If he wanted to do anything, he had to pay for it. He had to set up all these appointments.
Wow.
He gets to Visma, and they said, okay, get in the tunnel. They're doing things for him. And he says it's world's difference.
His resume has doubled.
Oh, my
God.
God.
Yeah. His value is doubled.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when, who was it? I might have been him. But there was a rider off the front who had to drop back to help another rider who had gotten dropped, or who had even attacked. I think it was who had to help Nairo Quintana, and he was like upset about it in the Movistar team.
Oh.
It just doesn't seem like anything goes right in that team. No matter the communication or what it is, they just don't like each other.
Somebody on the coverage had also mentioned the fact that they tend to air their dirty laundry publicly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cofidis does too, it sounds like. It sounds like it's in the same boat. Speaking of which, Cofidis, I mean, they're cursed. I'm convinced that team is cursed.
Yeah.
No matter what they do.
Offload Brian Cocard, they'll probably start winning.
Yeah.
A gigantic news going in. Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe with the crash, shocker, and forced abandonment of Primož Roglič. What do they have to walk away from this tour with? Red Bull put a lot of money into this. I would be sweating bullets if I was in charge of that team.
Mm-hmm. Weird team for Red Bull to go for, I will say.
Yeah,
not the prolific team that I would have expected.
I bet their wallet will open quite handsomely this fall.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to sign a shit ton of riders.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I bet Wout will be in the discussions of that.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, he likes where he's at,
and he also likes Red Bull.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Once Kings of the Road, Ineos, do they have anything?
No,
they don't. It's.
I just think
it's a rider buy. Is it rider?
I don't know. I
recruiting.
This is going to be hard on Pidcock, but I think he just kind of, with what a team used to be back in the Sky days, were kind of like all for one and one for all type thing. I think he's the highest paid player.
Yeah,
but pretty much
you're right.
Rider on the team, and he just kind of has carte blanche, and I don't know if that affects. It probably doesn't, but boy, when you have only 8 riders, you kind of all have to be on the same page, you know. So I don't know. That's just kind of my.
They're going to walk away with.
They will not win anything.
Not justifying their budget.
No.
Israel Premier Tech.
Well, surprise, surprise.
Well,
same old.
Being me, the guy who picked Derek G.
Well, he is. Well, he's in the.
He's
top
riding
10.
well.
Yeah.
He's not going to give me any points.
I don't think he's getting much help.
He's not going to give me any points. Lotto Destiny.
There's a Bora rider. Jeez.
Derek G.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that
would be move.
Lotto Destiny. Shit.
Yeah, DeLee's. What happened to him in the
He's
sprint?
been in there. He's been engaged,
and
which is.
But not today. I don't know what happened.
No.
And how long will he be at Lotto Destiny?
Yeah.
Is my real question. There's another one. I was thinking you meant DeLee as Bora.
Yeah.
That'd be.
Any jersey we can't confidently pick. Green, maybe. We all feel that Girmay will finish in green.
Yeah.
It will depend on probably tomorrow morning after about 50K on whether Girmay will win the green jersey and how well he suffers from this crash. Polka dot, but that's going to be Tade. So it's over. Should there be a jersey added? Paul, we grew up in the times where there were 2 more jerseys. There was a red jersey and there was a combination jersey.
Yep.
Red jersey was for the intermediate sprints.
Yeah.
And the combo, what the fuck was
the combo was like the highest in all the categories because they had a polka dot, a green, a red, and a yellow.
Which is basically what a yellow jersey is.
Yeah, but I mean, you could
nowadays.
You're doing the vest and everything.
Back, you think of like Robert Miller used to just dominate the polka dot, and Stephen Rooks and people like that. They, that's what they aimed for was the polka dot jersey.
Yeah. How would you rank this tour after 2 weeks? What grade would you give it, Jackson?
I'd give it an A. This has been very entertaining. I will say. Yeah.
I would too. Today was a little boring.
Well,
but I was okay with it being.
We've had
boring.
a lot of boring sprints.
Yeah, I just got shit done while the race was on in the background. How are you guys doing in the competition? I'm not going to make eye contact. Do you guys know? I haven't.
I have no idea.
I stopped keeping track of points because I do want to emphasize that I picked Mads Pedersen, gone. Michael Matthews technically gone. I picked Primož Roglic, gone. I picked Derek G, who has done great rides, but he hasn't gotten any points.
No.
And I picked Tadej Pogačar, who all of you have also picked. So in other words, do I need to order a really ugly cycling kit now to get it here in time? Or, what do you guys think the punishment's going to be?
You might need to. I think Paul and I are going to be very close in this because we have. Do you have Dilly?
I have Dilly. I have.
Those are
Wout.
points.
I have Dilly.
Wout got some points.
I have Adam Yates, which did nothing.
Yeah.
And I have Mohoric.
See, you and I have almost the exact same team. I have Jasper Philipsen. I have.
Oh shit!
Yeah, there you.
Arnaud Dilly.
Yeah.
As well. Do you have Jasper, right?
No.
Oh, you don't?
Mm-mm.
Oh, that. See, I think
You
that our
got that
sprinters
one.
will be what separate everybody.
That's going to change. You know what? And our game is flawed because the stage winners is. I mean, if you picked a team of sprinters, odds are you'd probably do better.
Mm-hmm.
Stage winners and overalls.
Yeah.
But then I only allow. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm fucked.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is. And I'm going to look like an idiot again and see through shorts and all that kind of shit. So, segments. We got segments tonight, gentlemen. All right. Well, let's play around with our segments. Brought to us by our friends at Muck Off. Keep your bike in tip-top order with the multiple brilliant maintenance cleaning products from Muck Off. If you know, you know, and if you don't, your bike is dirty. Use the link at Packfiller or let them know we sent you. What are we going to call it? Are we shifting dynamic, Jackson, in terms of where your segment is going? It originally was called Style Points, and I have a feeling you're just like going, I'm not always about the looks. Just stop judging me.
Well, it's tough because I do feel like style has almost... It has very small parameters.
It does.
And I'm finding a lot more things that I like to cover.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about maybe calling it the cool down.
Holy
rider finishes a
shit.
stage. Yeah. So
I like that.
Yeah, maybe.
God damn. I'm writing that down.
There we go. Yeah.
Writing that down. Cool down.
Yeah, it's all there.
That's good. We can call it that.
Sure. There we go. Yeah.
It should be the last segment then, because it's the cool down.
I guess so. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. But anyways, this will be the first installment.
Yeah.
of said cool down.
Oh, I don't have any theme, but I'll give you your old one. Your old one. This would not be a cool down song.
Right.
Goodbye song.
I have been, if anybody's curious, I have been recording an 85-minute voice recording.
Oh, right.
To my wife the entire time. So
that should be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Send like that sucker.
Yeah. Anyways, something that I was mentioning before was I've been looking a lot at just different like technology that goes around in cycling, and head units is something that has been kind of taking a lot of that. Head units meaning your bike computer.
Yeah.
That's the best way to describe it. And I find that how we view our data is so personal, and GCN does this segment to a lot of the pro riders. But I think it's interesting because we all view our data in such different ways. Paul, you almost don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we all have different workout screens, and how we view those screens I think is really interesting. Because for me, I have my screen on my Wahoo at the top. It has my power, and then I have other things. I have like time of day. I have temperature outside. I have total time of the ride. I don't like to auto pause that total time, but I will auto pause the ride, which is weird. I don't.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay.
So I just do total time that I've been out in there.
Yeah.
I also have speed. I'm thinking about adding heart rate, but what I want to do is zoom, so I can get rid of that field in certain scenarios. I'm trying to think if there's anything else though. Grade. I do like to see grade on some climbs, but that's it. And there are a lot of data points on there. And I mean, when you look at Lachlan Morton at the end of Unbound, you saw that it was like super tiny little numbers. It was like kilojoules that he's like put into the day. He has cadence that he's like average cadence. I just find that stuff so interesting, and I wonder why he would need all those data fields. But anyways, what do you guys, if you view them,
not during the ride, but afterwards.
Yeah.
What do you guys have on your screen?
Do you want to go first? Because
Yeah,
I
mine
got
will
a
be short.
long ass answer.
Time of day, because I got to get home.
Yeah.
I got a
That's about it.
sundial on
That's
the center
usually-
of my stem, and if I'm pointing in the right direction, it tells
That's
me
right.
what time it is in Uganda.
That's what I have.
There we go.
Now, I time of day. I put my head unit, which is not a head unit. I'll call it a pocket unit.
Yeah.
It goes in my pocket and it records everything. In the
You have a
ride.
specific reason why it's in your pocket.
Yeah, I can't see it.
Yeah, that's
because I'm
the
blind.
first one. Yeah.
But it also, even when I could read it, I just never looked at it. It was just not one of those things because I like to go by feel. But then that's why I like to have that data at the end of the day, because sometimes I think, man, that seemed like a fast ride and it wasn't. Or, I suffered. Well, yeah, you suffered. You averaged X amount, a speed and whatever, and you hit elevation. So
yeah.
that's about it. I think on the unit, like I said, the most important is time of day. Sometimes I look at the distance, how far.
Yeah.
Because I have to know, like, oh shit, I'm about 20 miles away and it's 10:30. I gotta get home. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, before I answer, I did notice there was a while ago on Facebook that a lot of the older cyclists, ex-pros that I am friends, quote unquote, with on social media, started this rant about the fact that current pros aren't celebrating their win. They're immediately going down to their head unit and pressing stop or something like that. And it was so funny to see the reactions of these guys going, we used to celebrate the win, blah, 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 blah. And then because they had one photo, I think, of Mads Pedersen winning a race and he was pressing his head unit. And because they chose that specific photo and not the 5 before it where he was celebrating the win, he brought his hands back down on the bars and hit stop. They were using that. I mean, that's just this classic my way was better. And I it's so funny finding that. I'm a tech nerd. I love it, but I also find that I am also a fragile little desert flower where I tend to let this shit get under my skin. And so depends on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
If I'm training, I want the data. If I'm training with you guys, I want the data, but I don't want my heart rate.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't want power because I want to know that I'm going hard, old school, like Paul and I would be, but I don't want to know how hard I'm going.
Yeah.
That I know that there's a difference there. And when I race, I definitely don't want to know my heart rate but I want to be able to be a click away with my current heart issues. I want it to be one button on the side so I can bring it back into view and I can see it and then I can get rid of it again. Power, I like training with power. I love training with power. I don't want to race with power. I don't want to see those numbers. When I'm out of the saddle and I'm sprinting, I don't want to know, like, oh, no, that's 1,200 watts. I just burned a match.
Yeah.
Because that goes into my head. And all of a sudden that demon's on my shoulder going, you are one set weaker.
Yeah.
Pussy.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So I have like 7 different pages on my head unit that I will shuffle through. And it depends if I'm on a different bike. Yesterday I went on a different bike that didn't have power.
Yeah.
So I just do, so I sometimes tend to lead to speed, distance, and time.
Yeah.
Those are the things I need to know.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing.
I told you it'd be a long answer.
Well, I also find that whenever I'm racing, for instance, I almost forget that it's there. Like all that stuff is still on the computer screen.
Yeah.
But I just don't look at it. Whenever we're sprinting for city limit signs, and you're like, that was 1,200 watts. I didn't know that I hit 13 something.
Yeah.
I had no clue. Just because I get into a mentality where that doesn't matter anymore. And the
Gotta
rest
go
of it
faster.
does. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I think that how much and how we consume our data is really interesting, and it's super personal.
It is. and you know what? I think you used the word a while ago, entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
When you said like sleep data and things like that, am I going? Yes, I could change my behavior over time, but the day of the race ain't gonna change shit.
Well, and it also
I'm almost better off not knowing that data.
Yeah, and we talked about it earlier today, but the whole rear tail light situation where we know where a car is coming, realistically, in a really tense scenario, what is that going to change? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like if a car hits you?
Yeah, if a car
your computer might get the license plate.
Yeah, cuz it's just like I guess I'm the type of person that doesn't quite understand it. It might be a comfort zone thing, but I don't know.
Well, I think maybe I think as a general rule, we are very conscientious of people coming behind us. We're not in the middle of the road when we ride as a group. As you know, sometimes we are, but not as a general rule. We are as far to the right as possible. So that knowledge that somebody's coming up next, there's not much we single file out. I try not to do that if it's a big wide, road, because I think they can go around. Mm-hmm. But if it's a windy double yellow line they can't pass, then they're more comfortable. Yeah. But I'm with you on that. I don't if you go by the rules of the road, that's not an advantage.
Mm-mm. Maybe for newer riders, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's okay. That's an interesting segment. Thanks, dude. Paul.
Yeah.
Should we change some times? How have things grown over the years? And I'm not talking about guts or asses.
My body hair, like my arm hair, is growing longer.
Is it?
Yeah, it's hormonal change.
See, I've always been a fuzzy guy. I can't stop.
But they used to stop like a half inch. Now it's like an inch and a quarter.
Do you manscape?
I look like no.
You don't? No. I have to. My arms. I have to.
No, it's getting so long. I look like a orangutan with it.
No. See, I've always been that way.
Oh.
Yeah, I've always been. I've had hairy arms. Jackson, you didn't get that.
No, not too bad.
You don't trim?
I mean, not my arms.
Okay. Good. Paul, what's your changing times for us?
Well, you and I follow this one page, and our Mr. Stanley also. I don't know if he did it. The ornery old cyclist.
Oh, the ornery old cyclist. Yeah. It's a great page.
It is a great
page. Sometimes it's just the people
there's a
who
quote
are getting
from
pissed
this.
about
I don't know
buttons.
who this guy is. He's some kind of slouch, but it's a good quote.
Yeah.
Henry David Thoreau. Do you know who?
Oh yeah. I've heard about it. Yeah.
Sounds like an idiot.
Yeah.
And the quote. It sounds like an idiot. The price of everything is the amount of life you're exchanging it for.
Oh shit.
So, of course, my passion is racing and stuff, but when you come to a certain point as an old guy, like Everett was like this big turning point. It's like, I'm only riding 1-2 days a week. If I can increase this, what am I, I'm not thinking about what am I sacrificing, that type of thing. And this is the problem that I think a lot of people who get into cycling get overwhelmed and intoxicated with the sport. It's easily done, at least it was for me, that you just immerse yourself out into this, and relationships and even work suffers and everything, because it is 100% all in, because you're pushing yourself to the maximum. And I think that also happens with triathletes and any endurance sports.
Absolutely.
So
any sport that you want to excel
you
at.
want to,
golfers,
the thing is
forbid
when
them.
you're team sports, there's a practice and that's it. You can take some time off. Mm-hmm. Like for me, basketball, I'd go home, shoot a little bit before it got dark, or, whatever. And that was about it. Football, you hang things up, you're done. But this is something that your diet, it is so, involved every aspect of your life. When you wake up, you are such,
at this amateur level we're at. Yeah.
And because you really, then I started thinking, like, as a 60-year-old, I'm sitting there thinking, man, if I just would increase here and here, what am I sacrificing? That's when I read that. What would I be sacrificing? Is that really worth it? And I think that's kind of the caution out there, is like, yeah, I want to be better, but I still enjoyed getting my butt kicked and teeth knocked in, but I want to do better. But is it worth, going through sacrificing a little bit of like going out to dinner with my wife?
Yeah.
No, I don't want to do that. I don't.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. And I think it's just a little bit of a caution. A friend of mine who in 1996 went to Belgium and raced for a year, and he ended up hanging up his bikes and never raced again. His name was Nicholas, and that was because drugs were just rampant at that point in time. He refused to do it. But he said, cycling is a demon. It is just, it consumes you and takes over and is the only thing you do. And that's what it takes to be good. But I think that the learning lesson is that as an amateur, just accept where you are and enjoy the ride that you're able to accomplish. And whether it's sitting in the pack that's doing 30 miles an hour for 30 minutes, that's all you could do.
Yeah.
And the other aspects of your life are good, then you're good.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how much that actually helps. I joke around about the fact that I'm psychotic. But
it doesn't help with Sam bashing you all the time.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Bastard.
Dickhead. But there are genuine times when I'm thinking about, okay, how, and the funny thing about it is I don't necessarily think about how I'm going to beat the competition. I think how I'm going to hang with you guys. And as somebody who came from a history in this sport, and somebody who humble brag, was successful at this sport for a long amount of time. It's to eat the humble pie and be the guy who gets dropped on the climbs right now these days is very difficult for me. But there's also times when I'm thinking about to myself, I know there are sacrifices I can make to get fast enough to keep up with you guys. But there are also times when I have another beer with my wife on a Wednesday, mm-hmm. and we have a great time and we sit out by the pool, or I don't go for a ride this whole week because I'm spending time with my wife. Yeah. And you're right, Paul. And so it's yet I'm still, I looked, here I am at 55 and I look at my Strava and I'm still getting PRs and stuff like that. So it's like, dude, just chill, man. Mm-hmm. Just have fun. Just enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Not to be cliche.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a great, thank you. I think I needed that.
Good.
Jackson,
just don't go to Costco.
Fuck Costco. God, Costco! Why? It's not Costco. I don't want to blame Costco because it's not
humanity.
Their fault.
It's the people they've raised.
It is the culture they've created.
Yeah.
I haven't been in a Walmart, so I don't even know.
No,
I've been in Walmart.
Way worse. I got a story about Walmart. Not for now.
Everybody has a Walmart story.
Do they really?
Yeah.
I don't.
And I haven't even been to one.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. You guys ready for the final K?
Mm-hmm.
Before I begin, thank you guys for being a fan of the show. Thank you guys for following the show. Be sure and like and tell a friend and follow us on all the social medias you can. I promise I will not spam you in any way, shape, or form. You might occasionally be like, hey, Packfiller's live. That'll be about it. That is it. So, final question for the night. Gentlemen, what's a TV show, movie, or media recommendation that you do not recommend? You do not. You've seen it, you followed it, and you're like, holy shit. For example, last night I watched a movie called Bone Tomahawk.
Interesting.
With Kurt Russell. Great. I mean, Western, looked great, looked brilliant. It's a great, kind of a great, almost slow story you're following, and then the end is the most violent, horrific things you will see in your entire life. I finished at 11:30 last night, and I had horrific dreams about a cannibalistic tribe eating human beings. It was so messed up. Don't watch Bone Tomahawk.
Man, that's a tough one. I don't typically surround myself with things I don't like to watch.
You haven't seen something on a movie or something like that, and you're like, not so much.
I watched the first 3 episodes of Riverdale and I didn't really like it. I'll say that.
Okay, there we go.
The Netflix thing with Cumberbatch in it, whatever his first
Sherlock?
name.
No.
It was a little mini series.
Alcoholic
he's in New
or
York.
something like that?
And he does puppet show. Don't see it. It's
okay.
a cliche after cliche.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was so disappointing.
Well, there we go.
But I had to watch the whole damn thing.
Because you had to follow the story, right? I get into that same thing all the time.
It's hoping it's got to turn. It's got to get better.
Yeah, nope, didn't.
Damn.
Well, I hope this episode didn't do that. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
That was you guys.